Okay, so I think that's about all the hero skins that we've looked through.
Who else could have any?
I don't think anyone does.
Vader won't.
No, Boba definitely wouldn't. Would you like a holiday special outfit for Boba?
I would not. I do not like anything that reminds me of that.
No, exactly. Dear. Yeah, I think that's about it though for the hero skins. So I thought we could check out some of the there's some trooper skins as well. And you actually mentioned a Savage Oppress skin for Darth Maul. That's a nice idea. Let me see. Now there is. Here we go. There we go. There's a Zabrak Rebel Alliance and Resistance skin.
Huh.
But look at the neck.
Uh-huh.
It looks more like a human that's painted his face. Put some spikes on there. They didn't bother to colour the neck in the right colour. It should be yellow, shouldn't it? They didn't even bother to do that. That's not a bad idea for a skin at all. But it's not finished. It's a human with face paint. That's not a Zabrak. What the fuck?
That is hideous.
That is hideous. That is hideous.
That is colossally bad.
Yeah. I mean, that is... You hear a lot of accusations about games not being finished, content not being finished. But that is so plainly obvious, plain as day, that it's staring you in the face, staring anyone in the face. How could you miss that? How could you miss that? You could believe the excuse, oh, well, you know, they didn't have time to finish this content, or oh, they missed it because there's an oversight, they didn't see it, but that's plain as day.
You can't look at that and think that looks good. That looks like a human in kiss makeup.
Yes, exactly. Which is a look that I'd like to go for, but but the Star Wars, it's supposed to be a Zabrak, no.
That is not a Zabrak.
That's not a Zabrak. No, that's a human in a carnival on Coruscant.
Yeah.
That's it.
I can imagine my culture is not a costume people in Star Wars. There's a bunch of people saying it's racially insensitive to stick horns on your head.
Oh, I see.
Because you don't have to deal with anti-human prejudice.
Oh, God.
Do you imagine there's a bunch of humans styling their dreadlocks like Kit Fisto?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, so we've got that skin on the Rebels, and...
We've got two humans. It's good to see they're keeping the human superiority going.
The thing is as well, those, I believe both of those, that one at least, is from Battlefront 2015.
Okay.
It's not new.
They're trying to make us pay for it again.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's not new. So...
At least these are all... I was going to say at least these are all good species, but they're good original trilogy, like they're Star Wars species with history.
Yes.
They've got a legacy behind them.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, alright. So, no visible neck seam there. They decided to give him a turtleneck. Maybe that's why. Oh, God.
I don't know if anyone knows what a Quarren's neck looks like.
No, I don't think so, really. But we know Zabraks can't look like that.
Yeah.
And we got a weak way as well.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, melted prune face. And they're all
Just
20.
Walnut man.
Just the walnut man, yeah. They're all 20,000. That should be a lot less. It's not finished. And I think it's the exact... No, it's not the exact same. You got some of them are the same. What the heck is the point of that?
Change the colour of their skin.
Here's the colour of their skin.
And you can just about see the moustache.
Yes. Oh, it's 5,000. Okay, it's 5,000. It's much less. All right, good.
I still think that a skin where you're just changing the head is pretty weak.
It is. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Do you think these aliens should have different body proportions as well, or slightly different body shapes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Zabraks should be. Well, if Maul is anything to go by, and
Yeah.
the other Night Brothers,
Yes.
Zabraks should be wirier.
Yes, he's quite chubby, really, isn't
Well, he's exactly the same as a human who's wearing like stocky clothes.
he? Yeah, and that's how they made them. I assume they just used the same models and so they altered them. I assume.
just swap the heads over.
Armchair developer here.
Zabrak should be wirier.
Yes.
Weakways should, if anything, be slightly bulkier than a human.
Yes.
Certainly broader in the shoulders.
Yes. Yeah.
And a Quarren just don't look like that.
No.
Their arms don't look like that, for
I
one
see.
thing.
Yeah. I see.
I mean, you can't just swap heads like like we're playing with Lego here.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yes. So for Resistance, we've got a human, white male, Quarren, Zabrak again.
They fucked up the neck
again, yeah. And the Weakway again. Interesting to note, if you buy a Zabrak Resistance, you will not have the Zabrak Rebel unlocked automatically. You have to pay for both.
Of course.
Yeah. Not a fan of that either.
Not a fan at all. Not sure why they've forced the humans to have helmets.
Yes.
No, this is pretty poor.
It is pretty poor, yeah. Are there any ideas you would have for Rebel Alliance or Resistance that would be more interesting for you personally, customization wise? I mean, what if they made helmets toggleable? That you could toggle off the helmets on aliens as well.
Toggleable helmets would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I think anything I suggest is going to be way more effort
Yes.
than they're prepared to put in.
Yes.
Because all I want is full skin.
Yes.
A proper full skin.
Yes.
Not just swap the head to an alien head.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if it's going to be a Weakway, make it a Weakway body.
Yes.
I mean, it would be interesting to see a Whippet in there, but that's not going to happen because they've got an enormously different body type to you.
Yes, that's right.
It would be quite interesting to see regular Wookiees.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
And Mon Calamarians.
Yes, there we go.
Mon Calamarians, Rhodians.
I believe, actually, I'm pretty sure I remember in the...
Duros.
Back when Battlefront 1 was still a thing, Battlefront 2015,
Yeah.
people were asking for Mon Cal for the Rebel, Mon Cal customization. The dev response was that essentially it was too much effort. There'd be too many things to change. And they basically admitted that really all they're doing is swapping out heads, and they don't want to do more than that. That's essentially what they said.
I can understand wanting to focus on more gameplay centric things.
Yeah.
And,
and if their time is limited, if it's really restricted, I get that.
I personally would prefer them to work on gameplay stuff, make the game a good game, rather than putting in every alien species from Star Wars.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do customization at all,
yes,
do it properly, for the love of God.
Yeah, absolutely. And within Star Wars, the universe, there's so much capacity for it. There's so many options. There's so many roads you can go down with customization.
So much variety.
Yes.
There really is.
Like we still don't have customization for the Imperials. We've got officers. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. Got human Imperial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So just so you know, that one. I think it's just those two are from Battlefront 2015. Those two are not. He might be, actually. I'm not sure. He's definitely not. So yeah, a lot of these are. And that one definitely is. Actually, I don't know. No, that one might not be actually. But you got two there that are. Two definitely are. And you're having to pay for it again. And it's the best that they can offer, and it's.
None of them were women.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
because
though it's been unambiguously stated in new canon and brought up a lot in old, that there are quite a lot of female Imperial officers.
Yes, yes.
Not a majority, because the Empire is a horribly oppressive thing.
Yes.
More, I mean, there's a sizable minority of women in the Imperial military.
Yeah. But you know why that is, don't you? Voice lines. New voice lines. Yeah. And potentially new body proportions, perhaps.
Well, you would hope that they were going to... I mean... I'm going to tread on eggshells here.
Yeah, go on.
But... the black one...
Yes.
I would imagine should have a different voice.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
And I think one of them was Asian.
Yes.
And they all look different ages.
Yes.
So one voice coming out of all these different characters makes just as little sense.
Yes.
I mean, in some ways, this is weirder than a woman speaking with a man's accent.
That's right.
Like if there was just a white woman or a black woman of the same age, and let's say same fictional origin point.
Right. Yes.
Then them sounding the same is probably less unbelievable than all these 5 men of very, very different ages and ethnic backgrounds sounding exactly the same.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But nope, they all have the same voices. Or the same voice, I should say.
It's just... either do it well or don't do it at all. I mean, that's really...
Yeah. You got an Abednego on there.
Abednego,
the one they love so much.
Yeah, the one that...
the one that died in the Battle of Starkiller Base, wasn't it? Yeah.
They're all named after...
Oh, yeah. What was he said?
Beastie Boys.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you look at any comic set in Resistance times,
yes,
it's just lousy with Abednego's.
Yeah. And to be honest, all the skins feel more or less they seem to have more or less the same issues that we discussed. To be honest, I don't even think they're worth going through.
Rodian's are stockier. I mean, if you remember Greedo,
yes,
he didn't have the same body type as Han.
No.
If you remember the Duros from the Cantina scene, but they're almost exactly the same genetically as Nemoidians.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And Nemoidians are a lot lankier than that.
Yes, they are. Yes, you're right. I guess hitboxes have something to do with it as well in PvP. But it's like you've said in the past, why there's so many problems, why bother with the customization in the first place? Really?
I mean, that is a valid question.
Yes. There's just so many problems with it, really, isn't there? And I think, in my opinion, is the worst thing about all of this customization? Like all these things, all these either pointless things or things that aren't really fleshed out enough. And the one thing the community wants the most, unanimously, more or less, Clone Trooper customization, colour trim on Clone Trooper armours.
Yeah.
The one thing that would actually make total sense, that wouldn't have any problem with it, really.
No.
They've not done it. They've not got it yet. And that's something that has supposedly been in the game for a long time. It's been in the game, it was leaked ages ago, months and months ago, and it's still not here. And you know why that is? Because they know that's the one that everyone wants. They want people to spend all their in-game money on these ones, all the ones beforehand. So when they finally release Clone Trooper ones, we're going to spend real money on that. That's obviously their plan. Obviously.
I believe you.
And it's not a case of us being really cynical or anything like that again. That's obviously their plan. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But it sucks. It's wrong. It's not right. Clones don't get any. I don't think clones get any customization at all yet. No, nothing. And the Imperials only get the officers. Imperials don't get trooper types or even pauldrons or anything like that. Nothing. They're just saving. They're saving all the good ones for later, so that we have to spend real money on it. And I'm not spending a dime on any of these. All right, some of them are good, but to be honest, I'm very particular about what characters are like in Star Wars anyway. So I'm only ever going to spend it on clones and stormtroopers, and only if they're good enough, really. But the skin selection currently, it's
terrible.
It's pretty bad, yeah. There's a couple of good ones. Lando skiff outfit, Leia Bouche, not bad. That's not bad. They're good ideas.
Yeah, some of the total conversion skins.
Yes, yeah.
Are good.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is how the entire this is how the entire game could have been.
Yes.
Is just this exploitative.
Yes.
And it really is ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, that brings up another point. Really, I was thinking of. It's a little off topic, but I've seen an influx of people on the social media accounts claiming that because of whiners like us that force the developers to fix the progression system, that's why we're having to wait so long for new content. It's our fault. It's our fault that we took a stand and said, no, we do not want exploitative gaming practices in our video games. We're in the wrong for that. And because we were so selfish, because we were thinking, you know what, it's not right to put kids through that, and also, yeah, to some extent, we don't want to experience that in our games either. No. This is cheap and sleazy, but we are thinking about other people as well. But because we're so selfish, it's our fault that we're not receiving new content for the game, and that's all that really matters.
So who's been saying that?
Just some random people on like social media, like Twitter and things like that, on the EA Star Wars account. People responding to the account and so on.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, no, of course not.
And like, I can see how, in a technical way,
yes,
that's true.
Oh, it would. Yeah, of course it would. Yeah.
Because if we didn't agitate,
yes,
they would have carried on.
Yeah.
If we didn't say we're not going to put up with this shit,
yeah,
they would have stuck with it because it would make them money.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it ethical
for
them to do it.
No.
But they would have done it because they care about money more than ethics.
Absolutely, yeah.
The fact that, however, we forced them to do something they should have done anyway.
Absolutely.
I say we like I had
much,
I had much to do with it.
I meant the collective we anyway. You know, everyone in
well, you had much more to do with it than I did.
Well, you know, you used to have good opinions on it. But anyways, you were saying.
We forced them to do something they should have done from the first place.
Yes.
And we forced them to do something good.
Yes.
Now that took their energy away from other things.
Yeah.
Indeed it might have done.
Yes.
But they shouldn't have moved on to other things until they fucking finished this.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, if anyone's to blame, it's EA for making them put in a horrendous business model.
Yeah.
And then having to make them take it out again.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that anyone who blames the people who protested against an exploitative progression-based loot box system that exploits children and vulnerable adults, you really need to re-examine your priorities in life. Because in that context, there's far more important things than you getting a decent amount of content in your video game. There are more important things in that context. Now, we all want lots of content for this game. And we will frequently discuss that, Tom and I, as well many other YouTubers. But just get your priorities right. If you really think that way, that's inexcusably selfish, and I don't want people like that watching this channel. You know, I'm not flattering myself. I know not many people watch this channel anyway. It's arcade, it's offline content, it's arcade stuff. And not many people care, but we do, and I care. You know, just on principle that I want nice people watching the channel. And just get your priorities right. If you're one of those that really believe that the amount of content you get is more important than ensuring a better environment, a safer environment for everyone. really.
I mean, the thing is, unless you are blessed with an abundance of disposable income,
Yeah.
and I say blessed because you haven't earned it.
No.
If you're blessed with abundance of disposable income, like your daddy had a good job or you inherited, unless you're that person,
yes,
there might be more content in the game, but you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to play it anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's only because the loot box gambling system, the extortionate gambling system designed to get real hard money out of your pockets, has been removed, that you can actually experience any of the content that is in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
we talked about it on the very first videos we made about this game, but this game is borderline empty.
Yeah.
If you look at it at base release as intended.
Yes.
It's borderline empty.
Yeah. And it was a problem with the previous game too. We said that in our previous skirmish stream today that we had. I always try to make sure that we're fair and positive. We give praise where it's needed. Really, we give praise where it's deserved. But we're also very honest as well in our criticisms because we want the games to improve. But we're not arseholes about it. We're not just constantly focusing on the negatives because we want the game to improve. But the sad fact is that there's not enough here. There was never enough here, even for folks who the game was designed for, PvP folks. That's always been an issue since day one with Battlefront 2015. That's because the EA is trying to be so damned extortionate about it.
EA is trying to put as little content in a game as it can get away with and still charge full price for it.
Yeah.
And then everything else they want you to pay for.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to be paid DLC, season passes, microtransactions.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which method they choose, you're paying for everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, if you aren't paying them with your money, you're still paying with your time to grind.
Absolutely.
And they will make that as expensive as possible.
Yes.
Because the worse it is to grind, the more likely you are to pay them. Absolutely.
There was a quote from I think it was the game director of Monster Hunter World. It's a game that I'm just utterly in love with at the moment, and probably always will be. But he said at one point, in reaction to this kind of microtransaction filled industry, as it's really been recently with loads of games like Shadow of War, Need for Speed, all the others doing that.
I mean, the Western industry is definitely
absolutely. He said, we don't want to have things like that in our games, because if you're gonna let players pay to skip content, which is essentially what you do when you pay to skip a grind, you're skipping content. How is it worth having that content in the game in the first place?
Yeah.
Which is 100% true. It's not worth it, is it? It's rubbish. It's not good enough content. It's obviously boring for players. It's not enjoyable. So why have it? The answer is because you're trying to scam us, basically, more or less.
It is extortionate, and there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
And the only reason it isn't worse is because in this instance the community stood up and said no.
Yes, absolutely.
Experience tells us that the publishers, EA or someone else, is going to try the exact same thing again.
Yes.
And people will be bored or exhausted.
Yeah.
And they won't make such a big fuss, and it will become normal.
Yeah.
Like always on DRC or DRM.
DRM, yeah.
Like always online games have become the norm now.
Yeah.
When it used to be that would have caused a massive PR spill for the company. I think I remember Diablo 3, or maybe a game just before Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Had a massive controversy because it wanted us to always be online.
Yeah.
Even when we were playing offline.
Yeah.
and they had to take that out of the game.
Yeah.
And now it's in everything.
Yeah. If you don't make a fuss, it's going to become the norm, and everyone's just going to have to accept it, because essentially they already had accepted it.
Just because you won a battle doesn't mean you're not going to have to fight that same battle again.
Absolutely. We've got microtransactions, they're back in the game. Loot boxes are different now, sure, that's great, that's one battle won, but we've still got microtransactions in a full price game that had several different editions at launch to make money out of you as well. With a massive marketing campaign as AAA games get to make, again, another way for them to make loads of money back. But no, it's not enough because they're greedy and because people don't say no. But there we go.
It's exploitative. I mean, even releasing lots of versions is exploitative.
Yes.
And games have been doing it for a long, long time. Game of the Year versions, golden versions, platinum versions, pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
Pre-order bonuses that are different bonuses depending on when you pre-order it and what platform you pre-order it on and who you pre-order it from.
Yes. There's so many layers to it these days, isn't there? It really is.
Skin bonus. I mean, BioWare's terrible for giving you a skin bonus if you own another BioWare game.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Trying to get Mass Effect players to buy Dragon Age, for example, and Dragon Age players to buy Mass Effect.
Yeah, yeah.
It's exploitative, and it does appeal particularly to that aspect of nerd culture, for want of a better term.
Oh yeah.
I think it's still there, which is the urge to collect.
Yes, yes, it certainly does. Yeah.
I mean, that's what, in a sense, that's what Star Wars was built on, was the urge to collect.
Yes.
But it's come on so far.
It really has.
And we're not talking about a $5 for an action figure.
No.
We're talking about full-priced £50-60 games.
Yeah.
And there's no excusing it.
No.
There's no excusing it.
No, there isn't.
And I mean, this isn't what we usually talk about, and I know we've been going pretty serious for a while now.
That's right.
But it does stick in my throat to see something that I like, and that I've liked since childhood,
yes,
and that I know means so much to so many people all around the world,
yes,
used as a vehicle for someone's greed.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when underneath all that, if you take that layer away, what you've got here is a good product.
Yes, I mean, we don't say that enough.
No, we don't really know.
That it is a good product. Like, this is a well-made game.
I mean, look at that Clone Trooper model. That is beautiful.
It's a well-made game by talented people who obviously are good at what they're doing and love their subject matter.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the real victims, I mean, obviously the consumers are the most obvious victims.
Yes.
But another layer of this is that the developers have basically had their work defiled.
Yes.
Because they've put... I don't believe you can put as much effort as obviously went into this game into something and not have put a little bit of yourself in there as well.
Yeah.
There's emotional investment into the creation of something.
Yes.
Whether that's writing a book or a poem or singing a song or making a video game.
Yeah.
It's...
Even if it's not your property.
Yes. I mean...
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes even more so when it's not your property. I mean, people really pour their emotions into fanfics sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah.
It might not be the most literally accomplished stuff on the planet, but it's got emotional weight in there.
Yeah.
It's got emotional investment.
It's made by the fans. It's made by Star Wars fans. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to see... I can't imagine how it would be if I'd made something.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I don't have the technical skills to make something like this, but if I'd written something that was marketed and sold like this, I would be ashamed of myself for contributing.
Yeah, just spare a thought for the developers. Always spare a thought for them.
I mean, they in most cases, the developers won't see any of this money.
No.
That the publishers are.
No.
It won't go back to them.
Yeah.
the reward they'll get for the profits this game makes
Yes.
is that they'll be retained on the payroll and asked to make another one.
Yeah. Yeah. And something else as well. You might be annoyed as a fan to see that this game has not reached its potential. I mean, it's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying for us too. It's annoying for everyone. But just keep in mind when you're directing your ire towards anyone. You can always switch off the game. You could always play another game. You could always look up another topic online. The developers can't do that. They're probably stuck with Battlefront until they're assigned to something else. They've got to fix this hot mess, which they've started doing, and might I say they've done a bang up job of doing. It's going to be really much harder for them, honestly, than it is for you.
The developers, for one, when you work in that kind of industry, when you're tied to a development studio which is tied to a publisher, and you want to make a living from developing games,
yes,
which even in this day and age likely started off as a hobby,
yes,
rather than a career move.
Yes.
You don't have freedom about what you're assigned to work on.
No.
You don't have freedom about what the bureaucrats in your company bid for in regards to making games for other people.
Yes.
You don't always have control about what original IP projects you're put on.
Yeah.
And once you're on those projects and you're working, you are very limited in what you can say.
Yes.
Not only because you are not the publicity person, there are people who are paid to do publicity for the game and have put a lot of effort into planning out what gets revealed when.
Yes.
But also because if you speak ill of your bosses, you are likely to get fired.
Yes. Yes.
Or at the very least, reassigned.
Yeah.
Or passed over for promotion or something. I mean, these people are dealing with all the professional consequences.
Yes.
That you see in any work environment.
Yes.
And public scrutiny, because they're producing something that so many of us are invested in.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Great points.
And they're all on Twitter, so we can all shout at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We can all shout at them, but they can't really respond. Because like I said, they're not the ones in the position of power here. The producers and the other businessmen are.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me, really, there's a new community manager for this game now, and you can really tell he's really trying his best to see to the community's needs and requests as much as he can within his own power. And you can tell he can't really do much. He's just community manager. He's not in charge of what goes into the game. But he's still trying to put out the hot fires that are going on across Twitter all the time, you know. And people ask, "Oh, this is the worst game ever. How dare you do this to Star Wars? Fuck you, fuck your life, and all the rest of it." But you can tell from everyone's standpoint, you know, developers as well, they're really pouring their heart and soul into it. Even aspects of the game that aren't really considered the main part of it, like the offline stuff. We've been getting content. Our favourite part, obviously, the offline content. We've been receiving new offline stuff consistently.
Almost since launch.
Yeah. And they've been making good on their promises about offline content as well. We got all those new maps at once with Bespin as well.
Still waiting for Grievous.
Still waiting for Grievous, yeah, sure. But we got all those maps and we're all caught up with that. We got another new small map as well recently. We got a Starfighter mode. They plan to add a last mode, a ground battle mode with vehicles. They even said they plan to add objectives to the Starfighter Custom Arcade modes to make it more like the PvP modes. They intend to do that too. And I could believe them at this point because they've been making good on their promises. You can really see the passion. Yeah, you can really see the passion. They really are trying.
Even aside from the macro stuff, the gameplay, progression.
Yeah.
The smaller bits that might just have one staff member working on.
Yeah.
Like a texture for a certain skin.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy.
Yes.
To do the smallest things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know if I were them,
Mm.
I would really be hoping that this was a final product that I could be proud of for having contributed to.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if it is.
Mm.
And it's entirely because of the marketing. It's entirely because of the money.
Yes, yes.
And the way they've treated how they get the money.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be one day.
Yeah,
And that's why we're making these videos. You know, we want to see it become like that.
In a way, this is the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because if this was a terrible game anyway...
Yes, you could just dismiss it. And
yeah,
forget about it.
like most of the Star Trek video games have been.
Most of the Star Trek ones, okay, yeah.
They've just been bad games.
Yes, you could just forget it and move on.
Then you could just move on and no one would care.
Yeah.
But because it's a good game, it should be played.
Yes.
If you're interested in this kind of thing.
Yes.
It just makes it all the more tragic that it's so badly hamstrung by something that isn't really part of the game at all.
No, it's not. I'm picturing like a good game trying to claw its way out of a pit.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I mean, this is the equivalent of a game. This is the equivalent of someone who's had their feet set in cement and been thrown into the harbour because they haven't paid their protection money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
This is the video game equivalent of
Yes.
of the mafia coming round saying, "You're not bringing in the cash that we need, Jimmy," and just chucking you in the pond.
Essentially,
you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter at that point if you're the world's best swimmer, you're not coming back up.
Nah, no, you're not.
I don't know if that metaphor made any sense.
No, I think it did.
We've probably waffled enough.
That's okay. So final thoughts on skins that you've seen here. Excuse me.
Some good.
Some good, yeah. Yeah.
Some good hero skins and some of the full conversion skins.
Yeah.
Been done well.
Yeah.
Got nothing negative to say about any of the human skins.
Yeah.
Except that it would be nice if there were some women. Other than heroes.
And better voiceovers, more appropriate.
And more appropriate voiceovers.
Yeah, yes.
The aliens are a disappointment.
Yes, because they're just heads. Yeah.
And really, I mean, if all I look at is what they have changed, like if I examined every skin from the chin up,
Yeah.
they're all right. But most of them are just polishes of work that's already been done for Battlefront 2015.
Yes, that's right.
So I don't know how much credit I should really give for that.
Exactly, yeah. And we've still not got the skins that we really want yet.
And the most crippling thing is that if all these were free, if this was just like character customization, you can toggle these on and off, like at the beginning of Monster Hunter.
Yes.
I would say this is quite nice. I would be happy with that.
Absolutely.
For the first influx, but because they're trying to make you pay ridiculous amounts.
Yes.
I mean, 20,000 in-game credits to change a head.
Yeah.
And not like to change neck up, to change chin up.
Just yeah. Not even the neck in some cases.
No.
Not even the neck.
Not even the neck. I mean, that's days of play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're paying for it out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, the whole point of a Star Wars game is variety.
Yes. That's right.
It's just, again, it's what's actually there on screen in the game is so inoffensive that it does almost seem ridiculous to be talking about it for so long.
Yes. But no.
Because of the way they've treated the money.
Yes, exactly.
Because of the way they're trying to screw us for everything that this is not worth.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just terrible. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
It's disappointing that anyone because you know what's happened. You know that the money men, the accountants, the businessmen, the producers
Yeah.
have been given assets
Yes.
that the developers have worked on.
Yes.
And we don't know how much time the developers have had. We don't know what they were asked to give.
Yeah.
We don't know what deadline they were given. We don't know any of this.
That's right. Yeah.
But they did whatever they were told to do to the best of their ability, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Handed it off to their bosses, their accountants, whoever it is in the company who decides what price point to set.
Yes.
And they looked at this and thought, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Enough people will be willing to pay this that we'll get a profit here.
Yeah. And the worst thing about that as well is that there's been a few leaks recently saying that now apparently after the problems with the progression system, having to fix that, EA have supposedly deemed the game not worthy of much more support. And so now you've got people, you've got gamers, you've got fans, members of the community say, right, well now, this is it, boys, this is our moment. We've got to show that the game is worth putting more time and manpower and resources into. And so they're now trying to get people, they themselves, and also they're trying to get others to buy skins just to keep support going. So in a sense, they're playing right into EA's hands.
They're doing EA's work for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is exactly what happened. Not exactly, but it's very, very similar to what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Right, yeah.
Is that underneath all the bugs and glitches, there's a good game that wasn't given enough time or enough development support from experienced developers. It was handed off to a smaller team within the company that didn't have as much experience.
Yes.
And were asked to work on a really high-profile game that maybe they just weren't ready for.
Yes.
Because they wanted the development to be cheaper, and they wanted it out quick, and they wanted to make money off of it, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect fans didn't accept it.
No, we didn't.
Mass Effect fans, like me and you, didn't accept it.
Yes.
Never mind the general public, who don't follow series from however old Mass Effect 1 is.
Yes.
It's just, you don't invest into it. You don't invest the time, the expertise. Sometimes you just don't invest the empathy and the decency into the game. You're not going to get what you want out. But as long as these people with these warped values about what makes a game worth existing hold the purse strings, they can decide whether something gets made or not. But the last thing we should do is bow down to them and say, oh no, we can make this game fit your arbitrary standard of success.
Yes.
We'll pay as much as you want, just let us have fun with this thing. No.
It's not right.
No. If they'd rather burn this down and salt the ashes, then give us what we as consumers, as fans, deserve, then let them.
That's for the best.
Let them. We've got the old games, they can't take them away from us.
And hopefully, if they do another game, they might be forced to give us what we want, because they've seen that we won't accept shit. Yes.
Maybe Lucasfilm would take the franchise away from them. And give it to a developer who will actually make good games.
Well, publisher, really. I think the developer, publisher. But no, very good points. Totally agree.
I mean, the way I'm in serious danger of getting political. But the way to beat people is not to try and play by their rules.
Yes. That's right, really.
I mean, there's a massive difference between, for example, the massive campaign around making sure people went to see Black Panther in cinemas to prove to studios everywhere a black-led movie with a predominantly black cast and very much a black American sensibility in its making, set in Africa,
Yeah.
could make money.
Yeah.
There's a very different thing because no one is under any doubt that there's a market out there for Star Wars games.
Yeah.
EA is not stupid enough to think that Battlefront is not a good investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Star Wars will always be one of the safest bloody investments in the whole of Western sci-fi or media at all.
And Battlefront's one of the most casual Star Wars games that you can play, and it's one of the biggest. It's sandbox. Damn, it's got almost everything Star Wars in it, really.
If EA are interested in making money, they can sell Battlefront till the cows come home. They just have to make it more accessible.
Yes.
And part of that is making it financially accessible as well.
Yes.
And not pissing off the people who had so much goodwill for you before.
Absolutely, yeah. Remember when I showed you the teaser trailer for the Battlefront 2015 all those years ago? I showed it to you on my Wii U tablet of all things. I remember that. Yeah, we were excited. Yeah, I remember your reaction, like when you saw the 8080 foot come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, like I don't believe there was a single Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Casual or otherwise.
Yeah.
However long they'd been, however old they were, however long they'd been following it for, however much of the EU they'd had, I don't believe there was a single Star Wars fan who wanted this to be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
None of us wanted to dislike this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we would have spent money on this.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you did spend some money on this.
Yeah.
I've got the same console.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I would have bought this too.
Yes. Yeah.
But why would I want to give money to prop up people who just see me as a wallet with udders?
Absolutely, yeah. Totally agree with that. Yeah.
I think that rant might have been longer than the Rogue Squadron finale one.
Oh.
Rogue Squadron.
And Rebels, yeah.
I was inventing a much better series.
That's how bad it was, folks. Oh.
That would be good. A television series focusing on the exploits of Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron, yeah.
I mean, it's always going to be from the perspective of the rebels, which I know isn't our favourite thing.
Yes.
But I'd be much more interested in seeing people like Wedge Antilles.
Well, Rogue Squadron had what's his name, Hondo Card, didn't it? Eventually, but that was quite obviously good. That was a long time in the future. But yeah, Mandalorian, that's all right. Nah, but that's it. Yes, could be more interesting. Yeah.
The old Rogue Squadron books, the starfighter battles, the dogfights, the commando raids.
Yeah, maybe so. I didn't read those, so I wouldn't know.
I haven't read most of them.
Okay.
But
yeah. Good stuff.